I'm going to show you how to make barbecue pork, or what we call in Hong Kong char siu. It's really easy and you only need a few ingredients. So what I've got here today is a pork neck, and we want that because it's got a lot of fat in there and that's going to caramelize when we cook it. So obviously this is a bit too big, so we'll cut it up into probably 3 pieces. So then you get a piece like that. What we're going to do, put it into a container where we can marinate it. Okay, something like that. Cut up spring onion, so really fine, yeah? Put that into your marinade. So make sure you got some on the bottom as well, so it's covering everything. And then last thing what you're going to do, you're going to use this char siu sauce, and that's going to be our marinade. Now it's much easier just to get it from a jar, and we're going to pour this all in. Now you've got to make sure, I normally marinate this for probably about 3 or even 4 days sometimes. So make sure you plan ahead in cooking this dish. The cook itself doesn't take long, but it's the marinating part. So now make sure we get a lot of flavour into this if we're marinating for 4 days. Now get your hands dirty, massage it in, make sure it's covering every part. So this sauce has a lot of sugar in it, which will soak in to the meat, so all the fat will caramelize when we're cooking it. So then we're going to let it marinate for 3 to 4 days, and then we'll come back when that's done, and then we'll see how we're going to cook it. Hey guys, so continuing on from our barbecue pork. So this has been sitting, as you can see, in the marinade for probably 3 days. So you can see it's let off a lot of juices. So what we're going to do, I've got a really hot barbecue here. If you don't have a coal barbecue, you can do it in the oven. If you're doing it in the oven, you probably want fan force about 200 degrees and get that really hot. So what we're going to do here, I'm going to place it not completely on the flames just of yet, because we want to cook the inside and keep it as juicy as possible inside. So remember, I got 3 pieces. Now, don't discard the sauce because we're going to do something with that. And one of the most probably important things I'm going to do is put a thermometer in. Now, I know not everybody has one, but I would say that's probably one of the most important tools you'll use when you're cooking meat. So I'm going to keep an eye on that, put the lid on. Okay, and we want to get it about when it hits 65 degrees, just before it's going to be cooked through, because then we'll move it onto the flames and get the outside charred. So we'll just wait on that and keep an eye on the thermometer. Remember I told you to keep that sauce, because what I've got is the sauce in a hot pot, and we're going to make kind of a basting sauce out of this. I'm just going to add a bit more honey because we want that glaze on it. So depending on how sweet you want everything, I'm just going to put 1 spoon of it in, mix it in, and then you want that to reduce down to not too thick, but because when it goes into the barbecue, it's going to caramelize our pork. I've got the basting liquid, so it's a bit thicker as you can see, and right now it's about 30 degrees, so it's been probably about 10 minutes, so that's good. It's not going up too quick and it's away from the fire. So what I'm going to do is put 1 layer of the basting on so it keeps everything moist. And if we need to, we'll turn it around, but probably not yet because we just want to cook the inside of it. Okay, so they're just under 65 degrees now. So if you come in and have a look closer, I'm going to move them on top of the fire, so make sure it's a nice hot fire because we're going to get them all charred. So you can see I've been basting it the whole time and keeping it very sticky, the outside. So just as we're going onto the fire, we'll put a bit more of the sauce on. And then now it's important you keep a close eye on it, okay? Because you need to keep flipping it so you don't... We want a little bit of burn on the edges, but we don't want the whole thing to become a piece of coal. So keep a good eye on it, and then we'll keep on flipping it. So this is a chart to kind of how I like it. So all the fat's rendered. So I'm just going to put it on a chopping board, and I'm just going to let that rest for about 10 minutes before we cut it in, because remember we did the slow cook at the start, so there's a lot of juices still kept inside. So that looks pretty good right there, nice and sticky on the outside, and we'll give that a rest. Okay, so that's been resting for about 10 minutes, and what I'll show you now is I'm going to cut into it. So it's nice and sticky on the outside. So it's nice and tender on the inside. Okay, so there you have it. That's my tarsiel or barbecue pork. It's very easy. Like I said, if you just go and buy the sauce, you don't have to worry about making your own sauce with everything, and try and find all the different spices that you need to make it. So have a go at that. So if you don't have a barbecue, remember you can always use an oven. You can start at a low temperature and then ramp it up, like how I did with the barbecue. And if you can, I would suggest you use a thermometer because it will be accurate every time. You won't get undercooked meat and you won't get really dry meat as well. So give it a go and send in photos of how you went.